Continue now at the top of Daf Tazayin and Mesechet Shekalim. This is Shekalim Daf 16b. Gemara said on the previous Summah that the length of the Aron is 15 tvachim, and if you take the luchos, you put them all next to one another and count all their widths, that comes out to 12 tvachim. So you got 3 tvachim remaining, and the Gemara says Tein mehem chatzi tefach lechol kosel. Now take a half a tefach for each wall, because when we say that it was that the Aron was 15 tvachim long, that includes the thickness of the walls. So you subtract the half a tefach on each side. That's going to take off another tefach. So nishtayir shnei tvachim. Now you have 2 tvachim remaining of empty space. And what's that for? That's for the sefer Torah. That's for the sefer Torah that was placed on the Aron. The sefer Torah was 2 tvachim wide. That rested next to all of the luchos. And the Gemara continues, Rachvo shel Aron tisha tvachim. The width of the Aron was 9 tvachim. Techsiv, like it says, Amo v'chetzi rachbo. It says that the width was 1.5 amos. So Amsa, Ashi says, we said 1 am is 6 tvachim according to this opinion. Upalgos amsa talasa, and then the half an am is another 3 tvachim. So you have 6 plus 3 is 9 tvachim wide. V'arbo luchos hayubo. Now you had 4 luchos that were in the Aron, as we said. Shnayim shleimim ushnayim shvurim. 2 of them were the whole luchos, and 2 of them were the broken luchos. Techsiv, like the pasuk says, Asher shibarta v'samtam ba'aron. It says the ones that you broke also you need to put into the Aron. So now do the measurements. Haluchos hayu kol echad v'echad archan shisha tvachim. Each one of the luchos was 6 tvachim long. Now, if each one of the luchos was 6 tvachim long, the length was placed according to the width of the Aron. So therefore you have an extra 3 tvachim. And the girsa here once again is changed by the gra, so the girsa over here should be the rachvan shlosha tvachim. Again, the length of these luchos were 6 tvachim long, and the width was going to be 3 tvachim. And then the Gemara says, Tein orchan shaluchos, that should be the text. Take the length of the luchos, lerochvo shel Aron, according to the width of the Aron. In other words, it was placed lengthwise along the width of the Aron. So the width is 9 tvachim, and this is 6 tvachim long. Nishtayir sham shlosha tvachim. So you have remaining 3 tvachim. Again, chatzi tefach mikan lekosel zeh, chatzi tefach mikan lekosel zeh. Subtract the half a tefach for the thickness of the wall on this side, and a half a tefach for the thickness of the wall on the other side. So now you subtract a tefach, so you have left 2 tvachim. And then what do you need the extra 2 tvachim for? Because the Aron had exactly enough space, as we just said, to contain the 4 luchos and the sefer Torah. Again, the 4 luchos added up to 12 tvachim if you added up their widths. And then you had additional 2 tvachim of the sefer Torah. That was exactly 14 tvachim, and it fit exactly. So therefore you need a little extra space in order to be able to take the sefer Torah out. That's the extra 2 tvachim, meaning the width of the Aron is an extra 2 tvachim from the length of the luchos, because that gives you a little extra space in order to be able to remove, to put things in and take things out. And now all of the Gemara above was following the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, who held like Rabbi Meir, that when we talk about amos with regard to the Aron, each amo is 6 tvachim. Gemara now presents the other opinion. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says, Bi'ama bas chamisha tvachim haya ha'aron aseh. When we talk about the Aron and we measure it in terms of amos, each amo is actually 5 tvachim. And the Gemara says, Man tana ba'ama bas chamisha tvachim. Who is the Tana that holds like that? Rabbi Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanin and Tamanin, as we learned in a mission over there, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda holds Amas Habinyan Shisha. When it comes to the Amas Habinyan, meaning the amos that are used in the building itself, those were amos of 6 tvachim. However, Shal HaKelim Chamisha, when it comes to the amos of the Kelim, those are 5 tvachim. V'hohein Aron Kliu, and the Aron is considered a Kli. So now the Gemara does the math according to Rabbi Yehuda. Al Daite de Rabbi Yehuda, Du Amar Bi'amos Shal Chamisha Tvachim. According to Rabbi Yehuda, who says that the amos that we're talking about by the Aron are 5 tvachim, so Haya Orcho Asoi Shneim Asar Tefach Umechza. It comes out that the length of the Aron is 12.5 tvachim. Techsiv, because the pasuk says Amasayim v'chetzi arko. What is the length of the Aron? It's 2.5 amos. So Amso Chamisha v'Amso Hey. Each amma is going to be 5 tvachim. That's 10 tvachim. Upalgos Amsa, and then the other half an amma Treu Polig. That's going to be 2.5. 10 plus 2.5 is 12.5. So therefore it comes out that the length of the Aron is 12.5 tvachim. Now according to this position, V'dalad luchos hayubo, there were the 4 luchos that were there. Shnayim shleimim ushnayim shvurim, there were 2 whole luchos and 2 broken luchos. Techsiv, like the pasuk says, Asher shibarta v'samtam ba'aron. Those that you broke also you place in the Aron. According to this position, there's not going to be enough room to have a sefer Torah. It's just going to be the 4 luchos. Again, according to the gears of the Gra, each one of the luchos was 6 tvachim long and it was 3 tvachim wide. So tein rochvan shel luchos la'arko shel aron. So now take the width of the luchos, again 3 tvachim each, 3 times 4 is 12, and put that along the length of the aron, which was 12 and a half. V'nishtayir sham chatzi tefach, all that's going to be left is a half a tefach. And according to this position, etzba l'kosel mikan, v'etzba l'kosel mikan. The thickness of the walls of the aron are not going to be as large according to this opinion. It's just going to be one finger, that's going to be the size of one wall, and one finger, one etzba, the size of the other wall. And then doing the math in the other direction, rochvo shel aron, what's going to be the width of the aron according to this position? Shiva tvachim umechza, it's going to be 7.5 tvachim. Techsiv, like the pasuk says, amma v'chetzi rochbo, it's 1.5 amos wide. Amsa chamisha, 1 am is 5. Upalgos amsa, and then the half an am trey upolig, that's going to be 2.5. 5 plus 2.5 is 7.5. Vidal the luchos hayubo, and again there were 4 luchos, shnayim shleimim, shnayim shvurim, 2 were whole and 2 were broken. Dechsiv, like the pasuk says, asher shibarta v'samtam ba'aron. Again, you place the broken luchos in the yarn as well. Haluchos hayakol echad v'echad archan shisha tvachim v'rachvan shlosha tvachim. Again, changing the girsa. Each one of the luchos is 6 tvachim long and 3 tvachim wide. Tain orchan l'rachva shel aron. Take the length of each of the luchos, which is 6 tvachim, put it along the width of the aron, which is 7.5. V'nishtayir sham tefach umechza. You're going to have left just 1 tefach and a half of space. Etzba l'kosel mikan, v'etzba l'kosel mikan. Subtract just 1 etzba on each side of the walls. Again, according to this, the thickness of the walls, it's not as thick. And what is left? So chatzi tefach mikan, v'chatzi tefach mikan l'shilot. You're going to have just a tefach of space left, about a half a tefach on one side, half a tefach on the other side. Now, in this case, there's no sefer Torah. There was no need to take anything out or put it back in, but still, there should be a little extra space. It shouldn't be a complete, perfect fit. There needs to be a little bit of extra space for those luchos. And the Gemara continues, Ketzad also Betzalel es ha'aron. How did Betzalel make the aron? Rabbi Chanina Amar, Rabbi Chanina says, Shalosh tevos aso is made out of 3 boxes, 3 containers. Shtayim shel zav, there was 2 of them were gold, v'yacha shel eitz, and 1 of them was made out of wood. And the way it worked was as follows. Nosan shel zav b'shel eitz, they took the one that was made of gold and they put it inside the box that was made of wood. V'shel eitz b'shel zav, and then they took the box of wood and they put it into a box of gold that was outside of it. So it looked as though it was wood that was coated by gold. In reality, it was a box of wood that was surrounded on the inside with a box of gold and surrounded on the outside with a box of gold. That was how the aron was made. Vitzipeyo. And then additionally, according to this position, they then coated the top of it so that that wood that in the middle, it looks like you have, again, if you looked at it from the top of the aron, it looked like gold on the outside, and then you saw a piece of wood running in the middle. They coated that with gold as well. Like the pasuk says, Vitzipisa oso zav tahar mibayis umichutz. It says you're going to coat it with gold from the inside and the outside. Ma'atam and lomar titzapenu. What does it mean to say again that you played it with gold? An extra word. Lahavi svaso ha'elyona. The point is, even the upper border had to be plated with gold. Obviously, the inside and the outside, that's plated with gold, not through a normal way of plating the wood. Rather, you're actually taking additional tevos. But again, the svas ha'elyona, the upper part of it, that you're going to plate with gold. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Amar, Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says, Teva achas aso. It was actually just made, it was 1 box, meaning it was 1 wooden box, v'tzipeyu, and they just plated it with gold in the normal fashion that you plate wood with gold. Dechsiv, like the pasuk says, v'tzipisa oso zav tar mibayis umichutz. It says you're going to plate it with gold on the inside and the outside. So matam and lomar titzapenu. So then, according to Rav Shimon Lakish, what's this extra word titzapenu? According to the first opinion, according to Rabbi Chanina, it makes sense because the inside and the outside aren't plated in the normal fashion. So titzapenu means the upper part, the upper rim that you plate in the normal fashion. But according to Rav Shimon Lakish, you're plating the whole thing in the normal fashion. So what's the extra word titzapenu? So for that, Amar Rabbi Pinchas says, Lahavi bein neser leneser. It's to tell you even between the boards of wood, maybe there's a little space. You should plate that with gold as well, so it looks like the entire thing is 1 solid piece of gold. And the Gemara continues, Keitzad hayu haluchos ksuvim. How were the luchos written? We're going to have a few opinions on this. And so the Gemara says, the first opinion, Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Omer. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel says as follows, Chamisha aluach zeh v'chamisha aluach zeh. 5 of the Aseres HaDibros were on 1 tablet. Again, these are the 2 luchos. So 5 were on 1 luach, and 5 of the Aseres HaDibros on the other luach. Hado d'chsiv, that's what the pasuk means when it says, Vayichtavim al shnei luchos avonim. You're going to write the Aseres HaDibros on the 2 luchos, Chamisha luach zeh, v'chamisha luach zeh, 5 on one, 5 on the other. For Rabbanan Ami, the Rabbanan disagree. The Rabbanan say Asara Aluach Zeh, Asara Aluach Zeh. You write all 10 of the Aseres Hadibros on each one of the Luchos. Hadahu Dechsiv, that's what the pasuk means when it says Vayagid Lochem Esbriso Asher Tzivo Eschem Lazos Aseres Hadvarim. It says you're going to write the Aseres Hadvarim. That's exactly what it means. The pasuk says Aseres Hadvarim Vayichtavim Ashnei Luchos Avonim. What does it mean? It means Asara Aluach Zeh, Asara Aluach Zeh. It means to say write 10 of the 10, all of the Aseres Hadibros, all 10 on one Luach and all 10 on the other Luach. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Esrim aluach zeh, v'esrim aluach zeh. It's actually 20 dibros on each one of the luchos. Now, what he means to say is that you could see it on both sides of the luchos. The writing was written in a way, it was carved into the luchos on both sides, so it's as if you have 10 on one side and 10 on the other side. It's like having 20 on each one. Dechsiv, like the pasuk says, Vayichtavim al shnei luchos avonim. It says you're going to write them on the two luchos. Pasuk means to go on go on in the pasuk. It says ksuvim mishnei evreim, written on both sides, and the idea is esrim aluach zeh, v'esrim aluach zeh, 20 on this luach and 20 on the other luach. Rabbi Simoy Amar, Rabbi Simoy says arboim aluach zeh, ve'arboim aluach zeh. It's actually 40 aseres hadibros. Aseres means 10, but it's written each time 4 times on each one of the luchos. 40 dibros are written on each luach. Techsiv, like the pasuk says, mizeh umizehim ksuvim tataroga. It's written like a cube, meaning each luach is really it's really a cube. It's really square. So you're going to write it on all 4 sides is the aseres hadibros. So if on all 4 sides of the luchos the aseres hadibros, comes out to 40 dibros. And the Gemara says, Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yoshua Omer, Chananya, who was the son of the brother of Rabbi Yoshua, this is the nephew of Rabbi Yoshua, he says as follows, Ben kol dibor v'dibor, between each one of the dibros, diktokev yos yoseh shel Torah, is the diktukim and the letters, the small things of the Torah, all the letters of the Torah are written between the aseres hadibros. Tichsiv, like the pasuk says, Mimuloyim b'tarshish, filled b'tarshish, which means kiyama rabba, like a big sea, which will be explained in a moment, but it's like the ocean, it's like the sea. That's what the luchos were like. And the Gemara now explains. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish kad havemati hadein kirya. When Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish would get to this pasuk which says mimuloim b'tarshish, Havi Amar, he used to say Yafe lamadni Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yoshua. Chananya, the son of the brother, the nephew of Rabbi Yoshua, taught me a very nice pshat on this pasuk. What does the pasuk over here mean? Pasuk means ma hayom hazeh ben gal gadol legal gadol galam ketanim. Just like when it comes to the sea, so between the larger waves, you have smaller waves. So too when it comes to the luchos, ben kol dibor v'dibor, between each one of the dibros, the diktukev yos yoseh shel Torah, are the fine points and are the letters of the Torah. That's exactly what this pasuk is referring to. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Tanchuma says, Iskashis kumi Rabbi Pinchas. I asked Rabbi Pinchas the following question, and for this we'll continue with the gears of the Gra. Says, Ki Rabbi Meir nicha. According to Rabbi Meir, it makes sense. Rabbi Meir again said that the Amos, when it came to the Aron, reached 6 tvachim. The Aron was a little bigger, and you could put the Sefer Torah in the Aron. But Rabbi Yehuda kasha, but according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's difficult. Where do they put the Sefer Torah? Sefer Torah, Heichon Munach. Where was the Sefer Torah placed? And the Gemara answers, Al daite to Rabbi Yehuda, Kim in gluska asulo mivachutz. According to Rabbi Yehuda, there was like a little box at the side of the Aron. Vaya Sefer Torah Munach besocho. And the Sefer Torah was put in there. So that's the gears again of the Gra. And now the Gemara says, my time with Rabbi Yehuda. What is the reason of Rabbi Yehuda? Where does Rabbi Yehuda get this idea that the Sefer Torah was not placed in the Aron, but it was placed at the side of the Aron? Because the pasuk says, "Lakoach Sefer HaTorah Hazeh v'samtem oso mitzad Aron bris Hashem v'gomer." Pasuk says you put the Sefer Torah at the side of the Aron. It literally means that it's not inside the Aron; it's at the side of the Aron. And the Gemara says, Al daite to Rabbi Yehuda, du amar hechanoya sefer Torah nasun kimin gluski asu lomi bachutz. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you understand that to mean, where was the Sefer Torah? There was a little box at the side, on the outside. Vaya sefer Torah nasun besocho. Sefer Torah is placed inside that, as we said before. My time with Rabbi Meir. Now, what's the reason of Rabbi Meir? Why does Rabbi Meir understand that the Sefer Torah is placed within the Aron? Because the pasuk says, al Aron milmala. It says you're going to put the kaporas as a covering of the Aron. And inside the Aron you put the edus, you put the Sefer Torah. Now, according to Rabbi Meir, there's no order in the Torah. Even within one set of psukim, things could be out of order. So then it makes sense. What it means to say is, the pasuk really means, first put in the edus, first put the sefer Torah into the aron, and then after that, you put the kapores on top of the yarn. In other words, the idea the Gemara is saying is that if you read the psukim literally, it actually in some ways could support Rabbi Yehuda, because it says you put the kapores on top of the yarn first, and then it says put the edus, the sefer Torah. So if you've already covered the yarn, how's the sefer Torah going to go in there? Rabbi Yehuda will say it goes to the side. Rabbi Meir will say you just read the psukim out of order, understand the psukim to mean first put in the sefer Torah, then cover the yarn. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Pinchas b'shem Rabbi Shimon Lakish. Rabbi Pinchas says in the name of Rabbi Shimon Lakish, HaTorah shenasan la'Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, the Torah which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Moshe, nasna lo eish levana, Chavrusa L'Meseches. It was given with a white fire, carved or written in black fire. Hiesh muvleles beish chatzuva meyesh unesuna meyesh. It was fire mixed with fire, again, like we said, white fire mixed with black fire. And it was carved in fire, and it was given with fire. Dechsiv, like the pasuk says, miyamino eish das lamo, from his right he gave the fire of the law. The Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Heichon hayu hishtachavayos ha'elu. Where were these bowings? We said in the previous Mishnah they bowed 13 times, corresponding to 13 gates of the Azara. And the Mishnah says, Arba b'tzafon v'arba b'dorim, shalosh b'mizrach v'veis b'mayriv. There were 4 in the north, there were 4 in the south, 3 in the east, 2 in the west. These are the various gates surrounding the Beis HaMikdash. Keneged shlosha asar sha'arim. And again, the bowings were corresponding to the 13 gates. And the Mishnah elaborates, Deromiyim Samuchim L'Mayriv. The southern gates were more close towards the west, Shar HaElyon, and they were the Shar HaElyon, that's the upper gate. The idea over here was that the Harabayas was on an incline going up from east to west. So it came out that the closer you were to the west, it was higher up. So that was called the Shar HaElyon, the upper gate. Shar HaDelek, there was the Shar HaDelek. This was the Shar which they brought in the Eitzim. They brought in the wood for the Maracha, for the fires on the Mizbeach. So they called it the Shar HaDelek, the gate of the flame. Shar HaBechoros, then there was the Shar HaBechoros. Through this gate is where they brought in the Bechoros. They would be shechted in the southern area, like that's the halach of Kachim Kalim. You shechted in the south. And then there was also the Shar HaMayim. There was also the gate of the water. And the Mishnah says, V'lama nikra shmo Shar HaMayim. Why was it called the Shar HaMayim? Shabo machnis and sluchis. That it was through this that they brought, as we're going to say, the Nisach HaMayim on Sukkos. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph.